So this is the story of how a few weeks ago I stumbled into a race that featured none other than Mr. Max Verstappen. So I was just playing iRacing on a Monday evening, as I often do, in a Formula V race. It's actually a rookie race, it's an open wheel race, and up pops the name Jos Verstappen. Now I realise that's Max's dad, but I've been very reliably informed that it was Max himself who runs under his father's name. There's been lots of different sources that have said he does exactly that. It looked like he was with a group of about 5 or so people. Normally it's quite a chill race, and it's quite, there's not normally too many high level people in there because it's a rookie series. But suddenly there was all these fast boys, and as I said, Max Verstappen was one of them. So I thought I'd now show you guys that race. It's going to primarily centre around Max himself, more so than me, although I am in the race. I will mention myself, but it is really going to be concentrating on Max. I mean, let's see how he races online in a race that he doesn't know is being broadcast, because it wasn't. He doesn't know that anyone's recording it, because they weren't. I just saved the replay and now making a video on it. So, I mean, bear in mind, this is a public race. It's not like I'm violating any kind of secret races done behind closed doors. It's still a public race. Yeah, let's just watch now. Let's see how he races with his friends. This was the Monday after Zandvoort. This happened, by the way. That's how I'm also confident it's him, because, of course, he was in his home country, so it would have been very easy for him to pop home and have a fun race with a few friends. You might recognise a few of the names as well. I think there's an F3 driver in there. There's someone from Team Redline in there. So basically anyone above my driver number, so driver numbers 1 to 5, are Max's friends. Anyway, should we get into the race? Here we go then. So we're going to be on board with Max Verstappen for this whole race. As I said before, as I said, here's the name Jos Verstappen. You'll always have the overlay in the top left as well to give you an idea of what is going on, and of course the track map in the top right. Now, bad start there for Max. It looks like he misses a couple of gear changes there, unfortunately. You can see also him with his Max Verstappen helmet, which looks like from a couple of years ago. It's got the Aston Martin branding on, but it's still quite cool to see him running a Red Bull helmet, and then just kind of a shark livery there. Coming into turn 1 here, manages to get it nicely up into P3, put it on pole with actually a really impressive lap time. Certainly quicker than I could go, no surprise there. I doubt he did much practice as well, but such is the Max Verstappen life. But coming here then, it's quite a short circuit actually, interesting this one, but a circuit I really enjoyed, but big oversteer there for Max. He ends up right out in the gravel, but manages to catch it really nicely. This car is very, very easy to spin, and there I am in my IKEA livery. I don't know why I run that, I just like running funny liveries. But anyway, so he's now dropped back down to P5, and as I said, pretty much I believe everyone under my car number is Max Verstappen's friends. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 car numbers in the top left there is Max. Now in this series, the dirty air is non-existent, but the slipstream is very, very strong. So what you normally do is you sit behind, but that is not Max Verstappen's style. So he jumps past me there straight away. I suspect probably because he knew all his friends were ahead and he didn't want to be behind me. So he does jump ahead there. Another one of his friends there just lets him go. Kieran there just lets him go. So he goes through there. Now he's going to try and get after the 2 leaders here if he can. So instant couple of positions gained there. I hung back. So again, the idea with this series is to sit back and to sit in people's slipstream, because if you're just constantly battling each other, which you can do because slipstream is so powerful, you're just slow and you end up losing the leaders. So it makes a lot more sense just to sit in their slipstream, back off, which is exactly what I did. But Max said, thank you very much, I will be having that position, and through he came. But as you can see behind here, pretty damn close. There's 5 of us now sat in a slipstream. Bit of a gap to the cars ahead though, not a huge gap. But around about a 7/10 or so gap between Max and the leaders. Now make that 8/10. So he is falling back slightly here, but it is Max Verstappen. Rest assured, he won't be now just getting P3 and sitting here, giving everyone else slipstream for the rest of the race. He will most certainly catch up to leaders. Side by side here again with Kieran, who once again backs out of it. Quite a sensible decision that. That wasn't a friend thing, that was just a sensible thing to do. Max almost off track there once again. And you still see me here with my IKEA livery. At the time, I could see the name Jos Verstappen. And I was sort of thinking, is that Jos? Is that Max? I was sort of in my head, but I also wasn't 100%. So, I sort of put it to the back of my mind, really, and just sort of did my normal race. But, I did very much enjoy this race. And I tell you what, a little bit later on, you'll see that it's very clear that we're racing with some real racers here, because how you race sim racing is slightly different to how you race real racing. In real racing, you always give room. In sim racing, you always give room if you're alongside someone, because you don't want to crash out. In real racing, you squeeze people out more. There's a bit more danger, and naturally, if you're around someone's outside and they're squeezing you off into the grass or into a wall, you naturally back out. It's just a slightly different way of racing. But they raced like real racers today, which was really fun. This was honestly, regardless of who's in it, was genuinely one of my best races that I've ever done on iRacing, just because it was so fun. And you'll see a little later on, they do start playing with people a little bit as well. So it looks like Christopher here, so he made a little mistake, or he's backed off slightly to allow Max to be right up behind him. So I think he is potentially a touch faster than Max. in this race. He's just going to back off there so they can get up to Johnny in P1. About a 1.1 second gap now, which is just outside of slipstream actually. So Johnny's doing a good job for now. But looks like Max is now going to be sensible and sit in Christopher's slipstream. This is exactly what I said you should do in this car. And that's exactly what it's doing here. So they're just trying to catch the car ahead. Now down to 8/10 there. Down the straight, they are going to get a little bit of slipstream back there. All pretty close stuff. All very, very close racing. This is just classic Formula V. As I said, there is no dirty air, but you do get a strong slipstream. So it's always really, really close racing. Max off track there once again. And once you get your tyres up to temperature, actually it's quite an easy car to drive. It's not too hard once you learn. Oh, that's actually Leady's gone off there. Leady's gone off into the grass. That's going to cost him time. And that is going to make sure the pack is now really bunched up. And we have now got 7 drivers all within a second of each other. Car to car there, nose to tail, all really, really close. Actually, Adolfo there has just dropped back very slightly. We've got 6 drivers, including myself and all of Max's friends, all within a couple of tenths of each other. So now the real racing starts. And Johnny there just pulling over, defending from Christopher here. Max is going to think about running outside, but no. Looks like Christopher comes over and takes a nice race. And brakes really deep there. Johnny's still just trying to hold the inside line here. Side by side, Max a bit boxed in. He tries to go side by side there with Christopher, but backs out of that one. That was always going to end in disaster. You don't want to be 3 wide in these cars. 2 wide even is a little bit risky. Very easy if you wheel bang a little bit, like Max very nearly does there. You wheel bang a little bit, then you do just pretty much just get spun out. It just happens. You will see a bit of that later on in the race. Look how bunched up it is behind here, though. That is insane. It's just everybody side by side. I'm in the mix as well. That is still only 6 drivers, though, but everybody right in the mix with each other, all kind of side by side. And this is what happens when you start battling. When you start going side by side, you slow everything up, and it just bunches the whole field up. That's why you don't generally want to battle. But these guys were having a bit of fun here today. And looks like Max here is going to try the overtake on Johnny to take P1 in the race. And Christopher's going to think about lunge up the inside, though, is he? No, he backs out of that one. That would have been some seriously brave stuff. I'm in the background here, battling with Josh, I think it is. But decide to just tuck in there. We are now 7 drivers in this lead pack, all battling for the lead. And Max is now out in P1. Let's see if we can start to pull away here. He does have some great pace in this car, as I said, probably without much practice, because it is just Max Verstappen. You don't become a Formula 1 World Championship title contender without being a pretty damn good driver, regardless of what you're driving. But actually, Christopher, no, he thought about it. He thought about diving up the inside there, but thought better of it. And you can see instantly the field's a little bit more stretched. I'm not going to say stretched, actually, but not side by side. There was, on the last lap, there was like 3 or 4 cars all side by side. This time, everybody's in line. But remember, slipstream's so powerful. Is there going to be any overtakes back here? Looks like Johnny is going to think about it on Christopher, is he? He is going to think about it. He's going to dive. He's going to be able to make a move. Not quite. Not quite. Max is still holding that lead. He's thinking lovely jubbly now. Lovely jubbly. They're battling behind, slowing each other down. Can I just pull away here and take this race when they're still side by side behind? That's not going to be side by side in. As you can see there by someone going off. And there's someone else. Kieran's coming up the inside there. Is he going to take both cars? He's still up the inside. They're all again losing time. This is what I mean. When you're side by side, look how much time you lose. And because the slipstream is so powerful, if you drop out of slipstream, it's so hard to catch up. They're now a second back from Max, but it is still Christopher up in P2. Again, very side by side there because of all the battling. Lots and lots of cars. Again, that is 7 cars. Well, 6 cars really having a battle for P2 now, as Max has just pulled out a slight gap there. But still pretty close behind. Max is doing some good lap times now. 47.7. That is a pretty solid lap time. That's the sort of without a slipstream, that's sort of the best time I can do, I would say. I can't really go much quicker than that in this car on this track. So Max has got some good pace here. He's just using this now to try and pull out a gap on the cars behind him battling. Christopher, though, has decided, right, we don't want to let Max get away here. Let's put our foot down here. Let's try and catch him back. As I say, Christopher does seem to be a slightly quicker driver over the course of this race compared to Max. Oh, there's a spin there. Johnny, looks like Johnny's had a spin, half spin really. Just never really went all the way around, but had a half spin there. Ended up out in the gravel. He's got going again, but that does just create a little bit of a gap in the pack. I'm still in P5 there. I think about, actually no, it's Josh there thinking about having an attack on Kieran. And I'm just sitting in the back there. I'm thinking, come on, guys, let's get up to the leaders. Let's not battle here. Let's just push. Let's get back up to these leaders. I don't want to be battling too much. So I do actually come up to P4 in the standings there, though. Just managed to get past, I think it's Josh there. Must have had a bad exit at the back there. Christopher there has a little go at Max. They do a 47.9, 47.5, though, from Christopher. Best lap of the race so far. And Christopher there just goes for it on Max. Really goes for it. They're going to be side by side here. I tell you what, look in the background there. I go off. That is a good example there of you could tell they're real racers, because I was around the outside. I was wheel to wheel with the guy, and he just squeezed me all the way out. Completely goes off the racing line and squeezes me all the way into the grass, and I end up out. But luckily, there's no spin there. I just go off track and lose a couple of seconds. But this is the point here where Christopher and Max decide, you know what? We don't want to get sweaty. We don't want to just pull out in the lead. Let's have a bit of fun with these guys. Let's bunch the pack up, and that's exactly what they do. They just start backing off. They just go side by side, so they're effectively just blocking the track. You can't really go 3 wide around the outside on this track. So they just go side by side, and they just back off, and they just chill. They just chill here, and they just slow the whole pack up. Last, that was a 50.4 for Max, 50.0 for Christopher. That's half a second slower, maybe a second slower than Max can go. So, this is the point they decide to have a bit of fun, and that is what allows me to catch up. So they bring the whole pack back into it. And I tell you what, I think what happened, because their friend crashed, I think it was Kieran, wasn't it? Had a little crash, they had a little spin. I think that's when they decided, you know what, let's back the pack up here. Let's let Kieran catch back up. Let's have a bit of fun. You know, they don't want a sweaty race. They want to have a bit of fun here. You know, of course, this is very much not what Max does for a living anyway, and obviously a lot of the other guys as well. They're just having a bit of fun here. So I'm already back on the pack here, and I'm thinking, what is going on? Why are you all so slow? What was that? At this point, I was assuming they'd done so much battling, they slowed down. It wasn't until I viewed the replay I realised they were doing it completely on purpose. But a 50.3, a 50.6. So again, best part of a second a lap off what they could do that last lap. And I almost there hit Chris around the outside because they're just going so slow through the corners. And you can see the whole rest of the field is now closing back up because they're doing sort of, you know, low 50s, high 40. So, sorry, no, 50s is way slower than that, isn't it? 50s is 3 seconds a lap. Sorry, I've completely messed up a time there. They're going 3 seconds a lap slower than they otherwise could do at the moment. So that is a hell of a lot of time. So that's why the pack is allowed to close up. I'm right in amongst here. There's 5 guys here battling for the lead. Kieran, their friend, is now finally back on the lead pack. So hopefully they put their foot down a bit more. But they've also invited the whole rest of the field back up into this fight. We've now got a 10-car battle for the lead of this race. It's only a 12-minute race. You can see the time on the left-hand side there. We're getting to the end now. I think there's only 2 laps to go or so in this race. And you see there's always 3 wide. I'm almost trying to go on the outside here. I think about it, but no, I decide better. Again, you can't really go 3 wide on this track. So I back off a little bit there and decide better on that one. I think there's 3 more laps to go, including this one. Again, look at this pack behind. I mean, there's a 1.3 second gap between Jody Mills, who's one of my friends as well, to P8. But it's now a 7-car battle again for the lead. But Jody is not far back at all. I think he's going to make it a 10-car battle for the lead any moment now. I'm now at the inside here of Christopher. I'm looking at P2 here. I'm thinking, can I take the win here? They're slowing each other. Chris has gone off the track there, so I give him a bit of room to come back on. He almost hits Max there. But I'm now up to P2 in this race. I'm slipstreaming Max Verstappen now. Again, I'm the IKEA car there in P2. I'm thinking, can I do it? And again, look how aggressively Max swerves, because it's me trying to get a slipstream, not one of his mates. Look how aggressively he swerves. So I think, do you know what? I don't want to swerve that aggressively. I'm going to stick to my line. I'm going to stick to the race in line and hope that it works out. But he stops swerving as soon as one of his mates. And unfortunately, bit of contact there. I do get... It was a purely racing incident. I was around the outside. I left him a car's width, but he just understeered slightly into me. And as I said, with these cars, when you're wheel to wheel, it's so easy to have a spin. And that is me now, unfortunately, out of the lead contention for this race. But Max is still in it, and there's still a 9-car battle. There is now no big gaps in this field. It's now a 9-car battle for the lead of this race. This is the penultimate lap. There's 1 more to go after this one. Max is going to cross the line to lead, it looks like, on the final lap. Is he going to take the win here, or is somebody else, one of these other 9, and there could easily be a huge crash here. If they spin across the racing line, there could be a pile-up, and it could be P9 that comes across the line to take the win here. Let's see how it's going to play out. As I said, Max crossed the line here for the lead for now. Johnny's looking up the inside of Christopher there, who actually backs off slightly. Christopher's backed right off there. And Kieran's up the inside of Christopher now as well. So it's really really close. Again, remember, cars number 1 to 5 are all Max's friends, and they are the top 5 in the race. Not perhaps surprising, but it is what it is. Max now, though, down into P2. Johnny Edgar's actually managed to take up to P1. Is Max going to take a look into here? No, he's not. It's quite a tricky corner there. There's not much braking that can be done into there. Max is very, very close now. He's going to go side by side with Johnny, is he? No, not quite. Hasn't quite got the momentum, but he's virtually touching him here. Going into the last turn. Also, Christopher's going to look at the inside of Max. He squeezes him over to the grass. Who's this? It's going to be clean. Surely not. Christopher there's up the inside of Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen slips with Johnny Edgar to the line here for the last lap of the race. I don't think he's quite going to achieve it. No, he's not. It is going to be Johnny that takes the win in this race. Max Verstappen P2, Christopher P3, Josh P4, Kieran P5. Actually, Kieran looks like he took it at the line there, maybe. I know that's still live updating there, so I think it was Kieran P5. And shock all of Max Verstappen's little crew there. Finished the top 5 in the race. Unfortunately, I get spun out. That was a real shame. I was up to P2 in this race. Slipstream Max Verstappen for the lead. Realistically, I didn't have the pace. The only reason I was up there is because those guys were having a little bit of fun. But anyway, as I said, genuinely the best race I've ever had on iRacing, you know, because it was such fun racing, it was such hard racing, it was slowing down the pack, but it was so clean as well. Yes, okay, I did get hit off twice. First was because he squeezed me out, maybe I should have backed out. Second of which was just a bit of a racing incident. But other than that, it was damn clean, and I tell you what, I would love to race with these guys again. If I do ever catch them online again, I'll be sure to make another video, because that was a really, really fun race. Hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing this race. As you saw, Max Verstappen does back out sometimes, certainly when he's racing with friends. Be interested to see. I am recording this as well before the Russian Grand Prix, so if there's a big Max Verstappen incident in the Russian Grand Prix, I'm sure you guys will fill the comments up with talking about that one. But anyway, guys, that is how Max Verstappen races when he's having a bit of fun with his friends on iRacing. Very, very quick driver, no matter what he drives, it seems. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and I thank you for watching. Bye-bye.